By way of beginning, and before we look back, here are just a few family messages.
Happy birthday, Auntie Debbie.
Happy birthday, Auntie Debbie. I hope you had a great day.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Auntie Debbie. Happy birthday to you. Big 50.
Hello. I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight to accept this award. Just kidding, Deb. Happy 50th birthday. You don't look a day over 49. Don't let anybody tell you any different. I have known you for almost 38 years. You lucky, lucky lady. I hope you have the best day, the best party, and you deserve the world. You really do. Happy birthday, Deb.
Hi Deb, happy 50th, have a great day.
What a long, strange trip it's been, as Jerry Garcia once said. It's been quite a journey for Debbie. So let us take this opportunity to consider all of the amazing things that she has done, to reflect upon the incredible ways that she's touched so many lives, all of which shows us what a truly remarkable and wonderful person she is. Debbie's early years were lived in various small villages in North Wales, and from those times her Aunt Barbara sends this recollection. Once, when Debbie was living in Rosthea, I visited her home after school. I then took her to the local shop for sweets. The lady owner thought I was her mum, which wouldn't have been so bad, except that I was 14 at the time and Debbie was 4, and I was also wearing my school uniform as well. It has never really been easy for Debbie at all. Right from the earliest days there were always challenges. But what has shone through all the way from then to now has been Debbie's qualities, her relentless determination, focus and immense effort always to offer the very best of herself, not only for herself but also for others as well. A fearless independence and a striking intelligence. And there's a couple of anecdotes from her early years that I'd like to share with you that I think really show that. I remember that she told me that way back in her earliest days, when she was a small child at school, there was, of course, always a requirement for pupils to attend assembly. But Debbie didn't really believe in God, and she therefore thought, well, why should I go to assembly? It was taken as read that all children just went to assembly by default. That's what you do. But that wasn't Debbie's way, to just do what she was going to be told to do, when there was no obvious good reason for her to do so. So she was quite determined, and she told her teacher, she said, but I do not believe in God. Why should I go to assembly? And she was resolute, she was determined, she wasn't going to go to assembly. And she was so focused, she made sure she didn't go to assembly. She didn't have to go. They allowed her to stay in the classroom. But more than that, what Debbie also said was, well, she didn't really want to be on her own while she was in it, not going to assembly. So she said, my friend doesn't believe in God either. Didn't really matter what her friend thought, to be honest. Debbie thought, my friend doesn't believe in God. She told her teacher she's going to stay with me. And that is exactly what happened. The two of them stayed in the classroom, and everybody else simply, meekly and obediently went off to assembly. Debbie did her own thing. Another anecdote that I'd like to share from Debbie's school years is later on in her school life, when she was approaching the end of her secondary school years. As you know, there's a requirement for people to go and get work experience, or to put it another way, learning how to be a good slave in the capitalist system. At that stage in her life, Debbie did actually believe in God, and she thought that at that stage she wanted to join the ministry. She was quite focused, therefore, that in terms of employment, she knew exactly what she was going to do. So when it came to work experience time, she looked at all the different options that were available, but she couldn't see work experience available in a church. It was quite easy and straightforward if somebody wanted to go and do retail work or go and work in an office, but that was not what Debbie wanted to do. She was quite focused. She knew at that stage what she wanted to do, which was join the ministry. So she mentioned to her teachers, she said, for work experience, I want to go and do some ministry. They said, that's not an option, that's not available, you can't do that. Debbie said, well then I won't do work experience. It was a requirement. Everybody goes and does work experience. But Debbie just doesn't do simply what people say if there's no good reason for doing it. Debbie said, I want to do this ministry as my work experience. They said that's not available. So Debbie said, I'm not going to do work experience. And Debbie didn't do work experience. That fearless intelligence, that striking independence has always been present. It's there now, it was always there then as well. The church played a really important role in Debbie's teenage years, and she was a very active member of the local Methodist church in Brumbo in North Wales, where she lived at that time. Not only was she active, she in fact became the youngest lay preacher in the Methodist Church, delivering sermons at such an incredibly young age, a truly remarkable achievement. Her mentor at that time was the minister Bill Anderson, and despite not being in touch with him for many years, she has more recently been able to get back in touch with him via Facebook, and they share stories and recollections. And as part of these birthday celebrations, Bill Anderson has sent me this message to share with Debbie. When I had just started out as a Methodist minister, Debbie was one of the young people in the life of the Brumbo Methodist Church. Quiet and yet engaging. Then life takes you on and we moved apart, and I'd now take though to the electronic age, and that voice from the past ensured that we could engage and share our stories once again. As I came to the end of my public ministry, Debbie came to visit me and we were able to share a meal and so many incredible memories. I continue to watch this amazingly talented woman with the courage of a lioness, cat reference, from afar via social media, and I wonder at her amazing and extraordinary talent and abilities. Sean Roberts, a very fine friend from Debbie's school days, sends across this little anecdote. You might like to remind Debbie about our spell as members of the Boys Brigade, since there was no Girls Brigade in our village. The 20-mile hikes were an experience. Views good, rain and wind, not so much. And one hike had to be called off after the group was split into boys and girls, and we were sent off on our merry way with no assistance. The girls arrived back at the first checkpoint, the boys didn't. As I recall, it took several hours to find them because they were in completely the wrong place. As I recall as well, Debbie was wearing a big yellow coverall with a red helmet, custard with a cherry on top. Despite a lot of challenges in her home environment, Debbie achieved magnificently academically at school and in sixth form, and she got wonderful A-level results, such that she won a scholarship to attend university at Bangor in North Wales, where she read a Bachelor of Divinity honours degree in theology. It's absolutely right to say that Debbie achieved again academically to the very highest standard, with the one exception perhaps of languages. The study of Hebrew and Greek didn't come naturally to Debbie, and after she got her degree, one of her lecturers did say to her that perhaps she shouldn't become a teacher of Greek. I think it's also fair to say that those university years did contain a fair amount of drinking and dancing as well. And at a student union disco 27.5 years ago was when I first entered Debbie's life. The first real conversation we had was a significantly drunken conversation all about Sylvia Plath. From those heady, crazy university days, your awesome friend Angus Smythe offers us this message.
Birthday, Debs. Happy 50th. Well done. I hope you had a good day. And here's my little memory from university. We once got very drunk, I think. We all got. And I think it was on a lot of Merry Down. And we decided, oh, let's go down to the main bridge. So we had a bottle of Drambuie. I don't know where the Drambuie came from, but we had a bottle of Drambuie. And we walked down to the Menai Bridge. This was very late. This is, I don't know, around midnight, sometime like that. And I remember you telling me, get out of the road, Angus, because we were trying to feed these moths with Drambuie to make them drunk. Crazy. Anyway, we walked all the way down to the Menai Bridge, and then I remember we walked along the river somehow. I don't know how it was, along the Menai Straits. And I don't know how we got there, but I remember you didn't like the mud. And then what came up was that, what animal would you be if you were walking, I don't know, what animal would you be? And I unfortunately said maybe you were a cow. You weren't particularly happy about that. And no wonder. And I think from that, when we walked back and we said, oh, we'll have an agreement to try and lose weight. You lose weight and I lose weight in 1 week. And so the next time I saw you, I think, was in the Frith bar, but you were still drinking beer. And then I was still drinking orange juice. And then someone said that, well, actually orange juice has got more calories than beer. Anyway, that's just a little memory I remember. I hope you have a wonderful day. We wish you well. Bye.
After getting her degree, Debbie then spent a year studying for a PGCE. It wasn't that Debbie was particularly keen on becoming a teacher, but she couldn't really think of what else to do, really. Studying for the PGCE wasn't easy. It meant travelling away from Bangor and staying in digs for months at a time whilst also attending schools. That was a tough thing to do, but as ever, Debbie's determination saw her through. When she got the PGCE, she then left Bangor and travelled down to London to begin her teaching career. I still had my final year of my degree to do, so I was staying in Bangor. She knows now, and it's too late now, of course, but when she left, she really should have gone without leaving that forwarding address. But when I got my degree, I followed her down to London. Debbie and I spent 20 glorious years in London. We revelled in being in one of the greatest cities on earth, and we definitely did make the most of it. We both worked hard, and we also certainly made sure we played hard as well. We used London and everything that it has to offer, the culture, the richness, the vibrancy, the energy, the enthusiasm. All of it was there for the taking, and we certainly made the most to take as much as we could. So many gigs that we went to, so many pubs that we went to, the theatres that we attended, all of the different things that we seen, and we soaked it all up. And it was a truly magnificent time that we shared. Debbie's brilliant teacher friend from the Essex days, Teresa Latchford, she sends us this message.
Hi Debs, I just want to say happy birthday. I wish I could be there. But we had a lovely time when we came to see you, and Alfie loved it. Richard wanted us to say a few words about our time at St Edward's like 25 years ago, but who can remember that stuff? All I can remember is the parties, and they came a bit later, and the parties were legendary. I hope you have a brilliant time tonight. What I do want to say is that to me you've always been a massive inspiration, because even though you got ill, you always picked yourself up and reinvented yourself, and I really admire that. Okay, I hope you have a brilliant time. Wish I was there. Love you. Bye.
You met him for the first time when you began your teaching career, and the legend that is Malcolm Eales offers these recollections. We both joined St Edward's in September 1991, but didn't become real friends until 2002, when Debbie rejoined the school and we both sat in the same part of the staff room for lunch. I wasn't even vegetarian then, but Debbie was, and near to becoming vegan, so although my sandwiches contained meat, she was impressed with the amount of fruit and veg that I consumed with them. For several days she watched me roll an orange around in my hands, before asking why. She didn't know that it broke up the pith to make it much easier to peel. As a Coke addict, Diet Coke that is, Debbie consumes a lot. And although she is rarely beaten, a cup of Diet Coke in America got the better of her, and she didn't want a refill for 50 cents. But this throwaway cup was the size of a bucket. It is thanks to Debbie and her cooking that I became vegan. She showed me that vegan food was not only tasty but nutritious, and anyway, how could I claim to be an animal lover if I let people murder animals to feed my face? From those teaching in London days, Debbie's fine and fabulous friend Terry Silvers offers us this message.
Hello Debbie, happy birthday. This is a bit like happy 50th. This is a bit like This Is Your Life, isn't it really? Lots of very, very good memories of my time in Willerfield with you. Richard was asking for sort of, what to say. Well, there's so much really, but it was like you were very much really like the school social secretary there and organised so many wonderful parties. And I do remember actually the excitement about what colour hair you actually were going to have on a week by week basis. And I also remember the wonderful time when actually you sent a message to me, private and confidential, down from the RE room right to the drama room, and I opened it from the pupil, and it was the message, "Are you going down the pub tonight?" And all those wonderful wonderful evenings in the pub were also good fun, but all these sort of like very nice sociable things don't take away from the fact that you clearly did a wonderful job teaching, and I certainly had a number of pupils always sort of talking about how well regarded you were and how much you enjoyed your lessons. I think your RE room itself was a very much a theatrical experience actually, because it was so full of wonderful decorations and very, very visually very, very visual, and a lovely experience just to sit in it. And I think it showed your wonderful sort of design skills and art skills, which obviously have been coming to the fore very, very much recently with your time in photography. So happy birthday, 50, very exciting. Here's to the next 50 years. Thanks.
Helen Rogers, a very fine friend from the teaching days, sends across this message. It's been 26 years since we arrived as probationers with Teresa at St Edward's School in Romford, Essex, alongside Malcolm and Peter York. A great team. Lots of happy memories of nights in pubs, clubs and at parties. You were doing great parties even then. I can't believe that we are arriving at such a grown-up age. I thought 40 was bad enough. Anyway, glad to see you are still partying as well as being fabulously creative. There is life after teaching. Enjoy your birthday and your party. I know you'll be doing it in style. From those incredible London days, Debbie's awesome friend Monica Timothy sends this message. Debbie is one of the most amazing people I've ever met, and we became very close from when we first met. Hilariously funny, extremely clever and creative. That's Debbie. She could drink anyone under the table, would brighten up any gathering with her stories. Always masses of fun to be with and totally lovable. And you could confide anything to her and she would never be judgmental, always kind, and always on your side. She was responsible for restoring my sanity on countless occasions. Anyone who has met Debbie loves her to bits because she has all these wonderful qualities, and she never fakes it. She doesn't have to pretend to be something she's not. I have been so very lucky to have met her. We both were working incredibly hard, and so we appreciated the opportunity to go on holiday whenever we could. And back in the early noughties, we had the chance to go on holiday 2 or 3 times a year. And here is a little flavour of one of those holidays we had, way over in Prague.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. It's in the night away. It's in the night away. He drinks a whiskey drink. He drinks a vodka drink, he drinks a lager drink, he drinks a cider drink. He sings the songs that remind him of the good times. He sings the songs that remind him of the best times. Oh, Danny boy, Danny boy, Danny boy. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down.
We've been drinking for a while, and that's it really. We're trying to find somewhere to eat. I don't know where Rich is videoing us.
A vegetarian restaurant that we know
Apparently,
about.
we saw it earlier on in the old town square, and it's really nice apparently. Well, we'll see. Hello.
Say where we've been.
We've just been, I'm not sure actually, we just had some bread and cheese and pommes frites. Very Prague, I know. Well, I think it is actually, a bit of stodge. At a nice little sort of garden restaurant. Oh, I was talking. Forget it.
Okay, carry on.
And we did try and get into this jazz and blues bar that we'd spent the afternoon in, but everybody else wants to be there too, so we're going to head off back to our local area, try and get a tram, and hopefully head off to one of those bars and have a couple of beers. Yeah.
I've got no beer on it.
It's too early, isn't it, to go back?
Possibly.
There's strange people got things.
We just got thrown out of the second pub of the day.
I don't think we did really.
We just went to Woodstock, and after one drink they said they were closing and it's only 10:30 in the evening. But we don't know, obviously. I think we've been thrown out again. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the scary drugs around here.
Yeah, no, it's the same. People binge.
They were great times, to be sure, but we did notice that things at that time were changing with Debbie's health, and things did just get worse, and Debbie did fall ill with what we now just know is ME. At the time we had no idea what was going on, but Debbie had to give up work. She had to change her whole life because of how profoundly ill she was. It was, of course, an enormously difficult time for her, but she faced it with a determination and a stoicism that was quite remarkable to witness. There were difficult times, there were hard times, there was stress and there was upset. It was not easy. But Debbie was determined to make sure that illness was not going to stop her being who she was. And in fact, Weirdly and crazy as it may seem, the illness that afflicted her allowed her to flourish more dramatically than ever before. Because Debbie was no longer able to work, she was of course in the house 24 hours a day, and she did find that inevitably, intensely, incredibly boring. We had always been so active together, but now all of a sudden I was still going out to work, but she was now left at home, and she found that a hugely frustrating and difficult thing to experience. So she tried various different things to occupy her mind, to stimulate her thoughts and ideas, to stop herself from just lying down and doing nothing. That was never going to be her way. And she was becoming more and more ill, and she found herself having to use a wheelchair when she was being taken out because she couldn't walk very far at all. And even if she was trying to walk just a little way, she needed a stick to help her with her mobility. She noticed, of course, as anybody who has to use such mobility aids would, just how unattractive and dull those things are. But Debbie is anything but unattractive or dull, and she was not going to put up with that at all. What Debbie did next was something quite extraordinary that ended up changing her life. She blinged up her mobility aids. She put sparkles all over her wheelchair wheels, and she dressed up her walking sticks that she was using. And when she stepped outside, she felt a bit better about that. That looked good, and she was feeling more like herself again. She always was, and is now, glamorous and dramatic, and having those exciting and interesting mobility aids allowed her to express herself more accurately, rather than just a dull, grey, functional object that was supporting her. Other people noticed those things too, and she started to get a lot of very positive comments about the Glam Sticks that she had, and that was where the whole idea came from. Well, if she had this and it made her feel good, what if she could do the same thing for other people too? And so she created Glam Sticks, this glamorous way of presenting mobility aids. She started to put different designs together and offered them for other people. It had to be done as a business, of course. We couldn't just give those things away for free. But it was not just a business, it was a way of emotionally offering something to people who otherwise were disparaged by society. From those amazing Glam Sticks days, Kathy Rutten sends across this message.
Hi Debbie, I don't know if you remember these from your Glam Sticks days. Just to wish you a very happy birthday and hope you have a lovely day. Love, Kathy. Cheers, bye.
And Glam Sticks really was much more than just a business. It really was a family. Debbie created the concept of the Glam Sticks family. Her customers were not just customers. They were friends. She connected emotionally with these people, and they responded to that. They were given something that really changed how they felt about life itself. In so many cases, these people were given something that allowed them for the first time in many years to step out and feel good. It was genuinely life-changing for people. Debbie excels magnificently at promotion and marketing. And it wasn't long before word got out about just how fabulous these Glam Sticks were. Debbie had a number of celebrity customers and was involved in a number of high-profile events, such as the Disabled and Sexy fashion show in West London. Make love.
Sing it, 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 sing it. it, sing it. Make love, start with a little levitation. Sing it, sing it. Make love, start with a little levitation. Sing it, sing it. Make love, start with a little levitation. Sing it, sing it. Make love, start with a little levitation. Sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it. You know that's what I like. Sing it, sing it, sing it. You know that's what I like. Sing it, sing it, sing it. You know that's what I like. Sing it, sing it, sing it. You know that's what I like. Make love with affection.
One of her fabulous friends from those times, Carrie Ridgers, who was one of her PR supporters, offers this message.
Hello, Debbie Deboo! I hope you are having a fantastic birthday. I wish I was there, but unlike you, I've not been able to get out of Essex. So I hope all is well. These gorgeous people here, we've got, go on, you introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Adele. You don't know me. Happy birthday.
And my name is Mike. Happy birthday.
And we're all vegan. Adele and Mike have been on my radio show tonight, but and we just wanted to say a message. Wish we could be there with you, Debbie. You're an inspiration from your gorgeous Glam Sticks, where you just thought of other people and making their lives a little bit more sparkly, to the books that you've written, and now going on to be such a top photographer. I know it's a struggle, and you have achieved brilliant things, and you've achieved a lot more than people that have no excuses. But you know, I understand more than what other people realise. It was a pleasure working with you. I hope we will do that again soon. And to Richard as well, who asked me to film this. You're both absolutely brilliant, brilliant people and brilliant vegans. Mike's a singer. Do you want to sing happy birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Debbie. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, from Veggie Vision, from Mad Promotions, from here at Phoenix FM, I hope you're having a fantastic birthday. From the Adele Cliff, who is the funniest woman in the world, and the gorgeous Mike Helson as well. We really wish you a wonderful day, Debbie. Love you all. Bye.
Happy birthday, falafel.
Yeah. Bye.
Glam Sticks is a testament to Debbie's extraordinary talents. A fundamental demonstration of that was the fact that in 2011, just 2 years after starting Glam Sticks from her living room, Glam Sticks won Mobility Product of the Year. It's a remarkable and extraordinary achievement. Debbie became vegan in the early noughties, and ever since then has been a tireless, dedicated advocate and campaigner for animal rights. One of the big campaigns she got involved in whilst we were still in England was demonstrating outside a slaughterhouse in Cheal in Essex. Workers there had been filmed by the Animal Aid campaigning group abusing the pigs who were going to be slaughtered anyway, but doing the most disgusting things to those poor defenceless animals. Initially the police were going to do nothing, the Crown Prosecution Service were going to do nothing, but the Essex Animal Defenders group decided to try and do something about that and began regular protests outside that slaughterhouse. When it comes to animal rights campaigning, being at a slaughterhouse is one of the most difficult things anyone can do. Being in the place where so many thousands of your friends are violently murdered every day is incredibly emotionally and psychologically difficult to endure. But the Essex Animal Defenders group turned up week after week, campaigning and making sure that nobody forgot what was going on there. Debbie used her contacts that she had in the media to ensure that coverage was given to those protests. The police wanted everyone to move. Debbie wasn't going anywhere. She was in her wheelchair. Malcolm was behind her, looking after her. Debbie did not want to move. And it took nearly half a dozen of these guys to drag Debbie out from where she was. They picked her up in her wheelchair, breaking it in the process, and dragged her away. Debbie was absolutely resolute. She felt like she had an absolute right to be where she was, and she wasn't willingly going to go anywhere. They dragged her away. She couldn't stop them doing that, but she made it clear this was not her choice.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Debbie. Debbie, you are one of the most beautiful, kind, talented women I know. I'm honoured to know you. I met you, of all places, outside an abattoir. We heard and saw many things and developed a bond there. I hope I may speak for us both. A silent bond, and I witnessed your bravery and your courage and your compassion and your light and your love, and getting to know a little bit Richard too has been a complete pleasure and honour in my life. So I'm so happy to share your celebration, and I send you so much love and look forward to meeting you in person again, hopefully not outside an abattoir. Maybe there won't be abattoirs by the time we get to meet again. Have a wonderful, wonderful celebration. Lots of love to you all. Party on. And I can't wait to see you. All right. Happy birthday to you.
When we moved to Northern Ireland, we knew absolutely nobody in the whole place. The fact that we know people now is absolutely down to Debbie and her incredible determination to get out there and meet people, see people, do things. But with that move to Northern Ireland, there were other changes that had to take place as well. Glam Sticks had become incredibly successful. It was magnificent, but it was also some incredibly hard work as well. And there was no way that Debbie, with her significant illnesses and the incredible amounts of pain that she endured every day, was able to keep up with the demands of that physical effort of producing those wonderful sticks that had changed so many lives. So what that meant was we had to sell Glam Sticks, and that was successfully done. A lady took on the whole business, and that still continues to this day. But it did mean that Debbie then had to find something else to do. She had always been very interested in cooking, had always produced some wonderful food that everybody definitely enjoyed. But now she took it to a whole new level by setting up another little business run from home, this time Cakeability. Cakeability proved to be yet another extraordinary success for Debbie. As with everything else that she does, she invested a huge amount of effort and determination in producing food of the very, very highest quality, and everyone absolutely appreciated what she was producing. Not only cakes, but also savouries as well. And it was with Cakeability that Debbie first became involved with Sunflower Fest back in 2013. When she had a stall for Cakeability, selling wonderful vegan cakes and savouries at that fabulous festival. And Cakeability proved to be one of the ways that we got to meet lots of new people here in Northern Ireland as well. Debbie would put on absolute feasts of fabulous vegan foods, and via various social media forums and networking groups invite people over to share in the delights of the food that she made. And whether it was through Cakeability or just more generally through dinner parties or parties of any kind, food has been one of the ways that Debbie has demonstrated the richness of her talents. Anyone who has tasted her food knows the pure quality and fabulousness of the food that she makes. But what Debbie found was, even though she really enjoyed doing Cakeability, it was also incredibly hard work. There was the sheer physical labour involved in putting everything together and then going out to events and being there all day trying to sell them as well. It was an incredible effort, and it was just ultimately too much for someone who's in such considerable chronic pain. But something magical was about to happen. Just 4 years ago, at about the time that Debbie was winding down a little bit with cakeability, she was kicking around thinking about what to have for Christmas that year, and she asked me to buy her a camera. And the rest is history. It takes determination and effort to learn how to use a camera properly, but Debbie had determination, and she did invest the effort. She worked and she worked and she worked to make sure she knew exactly how to use the camera to take a good quality picture. And once again, she demonstrated incredible dedication to the task. She put herself out there. She went along to fashion shows and began taking pictures there. She'd go out to places around Northern Ireland to take pictures of the wildlife, to take pictures of the natural landscape. She worked and she worked and she worked, and it paid off. She won the Ulster Wildlife Nature Matters competition with a fabulous picture of a bee in flight. Her photographs were featured in newspapers across the United Kingdom and also Ireland as well. Her fashion photography began to be featured internationally, including in Muse magazine in the United States and Vogue Italia as well. People were recognising the quality of the work that she was producing, and over subsequent years, and it's only been 4 years since she first picked up the camera, she has produced work of truly outstanding quality. It is a genuine, magnificent talent. And it was through photography that something else quite wonderful was born. She was doing a photo shoot with one of her models and one of her very best friends, Felicity McKee, and they were talking about the social perception of those with chronic illnesses. Not an unreasonable topic for them to discuss, given that both of them suffer so dreadfully from chronic conditions. And they decided they would actually do something about that. And so, Chronically Fabulous was born. The concept behind Chronically Fabulous is wonderfully simple and wonderfully beautiful. It is to offer a free makeover day to those with chronic illness and or disability, to come along and be treated like an absolute star for the day. One of the primary ideas behind Chronically Fabulous is that it absolutely is not monetized. It's not about using somebody's illness or disability in order to generate income for oneself. Everything is absolutely free to those who receive the wonderful treatment offered by the Chronically Fabulous team. And it is a team of people, managed and organised by Debbie, naturally, bringing together professional makeup artists, hairdressers, stylists, photographers, to make the Chronically Fabulous Day a wonderful experience for those who, when they first come along, are pretty much quite nervous and a little bit unsure about what's going to happen. But it's all about treating people with that respect that too often in our society is sorely lacking. They are treated like stars, and they do receive the star treatment, and they do leave feeling like they are stars.
My dancing shoes are gathering dust. The pipe in the shed is covered in rust. The hiking boots sit in the hall, but I'm just climbing up the wall. So lay me down on the cactus couch. Let me sleep now, don't be a grouch. The fog is falling on my brain. Give me something, kill the pain. It's time to get up now, time to get up now. I'm gonna be chronically fabulous tonight. Time to get up
Chronically Fabulous is simply the latest in a long line of all of those wonderful things that Debbie has done over so many, many years in giving so much of herself to others. That tireless, selfless dedication in giving something back to the world. It is a quality that is quite extraordinary. Whether it's the selfless dedication to her sisters when she was young, or the generosity and kindness she showed to colleagues during her teaching career, whether it's a tireless dedication to supporting veganism and her advocacy for animal rights, whether it's the wonderful things she's done through some of her business ventures such as Glam Sticks or Cakeability, or the immense effort she puts in to her photography to give the very best that she can for those who have asked for the photographs to be taken. In each and every case, what is apparent, what is clear, what comes through every time is that tireless dedication to offering care and consideration to others. And it has always been my privilege and honour to witness this remarkable woman and her selfless dedication to compassion, kindness, thoughtfulness and love given unconditionally to so many, in so many, many ways. And I know that all of her family and her many, many friends and admirers have got the absolute utmost respect for this extraordinary, remarkable, beautiful and outstanding person who is Debbie Deboo.